Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of Bobby's Vinyl Views. Today I'll be reviewing an album by Elvis Costello and the Roots, known as Wise Up Ghost. And this album is very great, I would say. It's got two central themes, one being religion and the second being political. We'll get into those later on. It has a very funk feel, very Bee Gees sounding, disco, it's fantastic. Let me just get right into it. The first song is called Wise Up Ghost. Or no, it's called Walk Us Uptown, which is basically Elvis Costello and the Roots speaking on behalf of all of us. In this song, talking to Jesus Christ, saying, will you walk us uptown? Basically, regardless of all, to your paradise, basically regardless of all of the sins and cruel things that we as a people and nation and society have done to his world. Will you walk us uptown, in spite of all of our shortcomings. Sugar Won't Work, the second song, is basically Elvis talking about a lover who always lied and, cheated him, and saying that nothing will work anymore, a la Sugar Won't Work. And number 3, Refuse to Be Saved. And this is basically taking the perspective of anybody who had been mistreated in the 60s, saying they'd rather be back in that time where they could tell the time based on the color of their skin, and they knew who the neighbor was because he was the one who turned them in. And it takes the perspective of many people in the 60s, but it also talks about how those who sparked the revolution and protested in the civil rights movement were always, looked upon the rest of society as needing to be saved, and the song basically says they refuse to be saved, which is fantastic. It's a great song. It's one of my favorites on this album. Wake Me Up. This song takes the perspective of an immigrant, I think, and how they could be shipped off to their homeland, if they're caught, and how dictators treat them, or people here treat them, not dictators, but treat them like their home, and and they're basically trying to find a better life. And wake me up because there could be something better than this. There has to be something better than this. And it's basically a song of hope for their future and their need for desired change. Basically, why people come to America. And it's a good song. Number 5 is Tripwire. And Tripwire is basically always try and get to know people. Just because you don't speak the language doesn't mean that you can't understand, and just because you don't speak the language doesn't mean you can't understand. And it basically talks about scripture and the twist of the script of the install, torn from the pages of scripture, sprayed on the wall, and phrases of the flag, and kisses forbidden on lips, and all the fine lines worn into rags. Tripwire. you know, it talks about the hypocrisy within the world today, and the world always. Because hypocrisy is always there, because we're all a hypocritical being and nation. And that's what that talks about. It's a good song. Stick Out Your Tongue, to me, deals with kidnapping of children and the effects that their parents go through and the evil in the world. That's what I gathered from it. Where is that at? It's right here. Stick out your tongue. Basically, they talk to the family. Stick out your tongue. Drink down the venom. And the parents of the kidnapped children start the bidding for their tails. What would you say? What would you do? Children, animals, 2 by 2. Give me the needle. Give me the rope. And basically, how the different stages that the parents of kidnapped children go through, and different, like the sugar-coated pill is getting bitterer still. You think your country needs you, but you know it never will. Basically anti-war. There's a lot of subliminal meanings in these lyrics, and that's what makes this album pretty fantastic to me. Anti-war, you know. Number 7 is Come the Meantimes, which is basically Jesus Christ asking all of us, you know, will you betray me? Come the meantimes, will you be deceiving me and beyond believing in me? And people saying he came back, right back. I think he did. And people saying, let's go get stoned. Will you be denying me? Will you come crying to me? Will you still be obeying me? Will you still be praying to me? And basically, you know, he's asking all these questions, but people aren't sure whether to believe him. He came back, right back, and they followed and failed. Basically talking about the shortcomings of us, and he's asking us, what will we do when he comes back on, you know, Judgment Day? Yeah. And She Might Be a Grenade, number 8. I think this is about a stripper, and you know, whether or not this guy thinks she's thinking of him or another person. She's pulling out the pin, unbuttoning her dress. She tears away the veil with her fingernails, and this is her wedding day. I'm not real sure what this one's about. Somebody told her she could really be redeemed. You know, nobody told her it's a sin. I think this is a stripper on her wedding day, and intertwined with the twins, or with the sins that, you know, she has committed in her past, but never to judge anybody. And you know, that's what that song is about. It's a good song, good groove. Thanks to the Roots and Elvis. 5 minutos con vos, which is 5 minutes with you. Basically, to me, talks about, or is about, like a person in a prison getting their final visit with somebody before death, and there's a woman who sings with Elvis on the song. I don't know her name, but she speaks in Spanish, and the guy's gonna get hung, but then he gets 5 minutes with the person in 5 minutes with you, basically, and he gets cruel treatment in the prison, but you don't know about it. And I think it's just about being trapped in a prison and the cruel treatment that they give off. And Viceroy's Row, that song is about, you know, how crooked the political system is, and you know, he's a tycoon, he's a cheapskate, went out looking for a keepsake to tuck in his suitcase on Viceroy's Row. Basically, the crooked nature of the political machine. You know, a woman sinking, a woman in a blindfold, she doesn't want her hand held. Nothing sacrifices the ruins of his blue eyes like bloodstains on a diamond mine. Like, he finds enjoyment on that, and war deep within you felt. And deep within you felt not one measure of his guilt, staring in the dark up on Viceroy's Row. Yet her permanent lover took a ribbon of rubber, tied her to the bed, made of silken thread, but without any ounce of mercy they denounced him with a curse, hammering on the door upon Viceroy's Row. And basically it ends with the guy getting overthrown. And that's more political commentary, I feel. Wise Up Ghost basically talks about Elvis and the Roots growing up, and talks about a woman in her past, like she's got a house that is all decked out in 1932, and talks a little bit about the Titanic and a little bit about everything. And Wise Up Ghost, I think that basically tells us to embrace history and embrace our past, because it makes us who we are. You know, and my favorite song in the album is Wise Up Ghost, and it's a fine title for this record. And the next one, number 12, If I Could Believe, is about a man struggling as well as coming to terms with his faith, and he's trying to find something to believe in. And that's what the song deals with, is a man at odds with his faith, questioning his faith. And this is what this song deals with and addresses. And I think that it's a good song because it relates to, anybody can relate to it, because at some point or another we all question our beliefs, and we all put our beliefs to the test. And it's a real good song. And My New Haunt is a bonus track. And I believe it deals with you know, a woman in Elvis's past, or Elvis and the Roots' past, I don't know which one. And it also deals with a house, and it's very interesting. You can never get really a good definition of what these songs mean, but it's very unique, and this is what I like about this album. Can You Hear Me is the next bonus track. Let's see. Basically, I think it's basically about testing everybody. There's a line that you must toe, and it's time that you go, and it basically talks about the pits of hell that gangsters will see. It's darker than you know. There's a line you must toe, and it's time that you go. The hands of the helpless are raised. Your dead little secrets are praised. The people stand dumbstruck and dazed. Can you hear me? By the inches that you have erased. Do those drug dealers still polish women made of wax? I think it talks about like speakeasy. Like through here it talks about speakeasies and a storm. It's a big storm and paying for ransom and a hostage and you know, radio silence, and it's a very unique song. And very unique, very unique, very unique. And the puppet has cut his strings is the last song on this fine record, and it's basically talking about, it's from the puppet master's point of view, talking about his puppet and how the puppet is now free from restraints and free from, you know, anything, and how his crowd has left him. He was like a vaudeville type of you know, puppet. And now he's free to do basically whatever he wants, and he's free to be alive, and you know how he once loved. He's basically reminiscing in kind of a weird way. It's kind of a weird song, but the guy is kind of reminiscing about his puppet, and it's very unique. But like I say, the songs were written by Elvis Costello, Amir Thompson, Questlove, Stephen Mandel. That's who wrote all the songs. And Ray Angry too wrote a couple, and Donald Dunbar, Daphne Ann Dozier, Adathi, you know, people who were on this, you know, as I say, the Roots crew, as Jimmy Fallon likes to call them, and they provide a steady flow. Like I say, reminds me of the Bee Gees, and you know, classic R&B and soul, and you know, James Brown type of disco and funk. Basically, is the echoing musical genre in this, along with a little bit of rock and roll. And I love Elvis Costello's lyrics, along with the Roots, because they all co-wrote all the songs. But I like how Elvis's voice keeps on moving along with the Roots' constant flow. They're a good match for each other, and I hope they do more albums, because they have a very good partnership. And I was very stoked when I heard about this album, and I'm glad I listened to it. And I hope you're glad that you watched this review. It's a little long, about 20 minutes, but I hope you got a lot of enjoyment out of this, because I had a lot of enjoyment listening to Wise Up Ghost. It's available on Spotify, iTunes, and any retail store, Target, Walmart, you know, anywhere you can get it. I highly recommend it. Have a good day, guys. Peace and love. Remember, you can catch Elvis Costello on his tour, and remember, you can catch the Roots on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, and soon to be The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. And The Roots also have a festival every year, which they host in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, every June, called the Roots Picnic. Check that out too if you're in Pennsylvania, because they're a good band. I saw Jimmy Fallon live in 2012, and the Roots put on a little impromptu concert during every commercial, and they're fantastic. I would highly recommend seeing them live. I wish I could. You know, I already did, but I wish I could see them again. And check out the album, because it's fantastic. Elvis Costello is good, and they're all a great mix. Have a good day. Sorry for my rambling, but have a great day, guys. See you on the flip side.